All right, today we're going to take a look at simple interest. You're going to need your toolkit. If you don't have it, pause the video and go find it. We're going to be looking at the toolkit entry on simple interest after we take a look at a short video.
Hi class, this is Billy. Hello Billy. Billy wants to buy his very first car. He finds a car he likes at the car yard. How much, he asks the salesperson. $20,000. Billy checks his pockets. I only have $2,000. I still need another $18,000 to buy the car. Where will I find that much money? Hello Billy, my name is Mr. Bank. You have two options to buy this car. Option number 1, you can save the money over time and then buy the car then. Or option number 2, you can borrow the money, buy the car now and pay me back the money over a set time period. Billy scratches his head. This sounds too good to be true. I can just borrow money, buy the car now and pay it all back later on. That's true, says Mr. Bank. However, borrowing money is not free. We will charge you a fee, which we call interest, to loan the money. So how much will this fee cost me? Says Billy. Well, says Mr. Bank, we loan money at an interest rate of 10% per year. In your case, given you already have $2,000 deposit, we will loan you $18,000. This will cost you $1,800 interest every year. The longer you take to pay back the loan, the more interest you pay. So, asked Billy, if I take 5 years to pay off the $18,000 that you loan me, how much will this cost? It is merely $1,800 times 5, which is $9,000 interest. Billy thinks this sounds pretty good. The bank advances Billy $18,000. Billy combines this with his $2,000 deposit and pays this to the car salesperson. Billy drives off in his nice new car. However, he now has to repay the loan and the interest over the next 5 years. Everyone is happy.
Okay, so there's a couple different scenarios where you might have to pay interest or you could actually earn interest on some money. So paying interest would be like a car loan. You've probably heard your parents talk about their mortgage. They also pay interest on their house because they borrowed money to pay off a house. In this toolkit example, Teresa's going to be investing money. So that means she's going to be putting money into a savings account and she's not going to be touching that money, and she's going to gain interest on that yearly or monthly usually. Okay, so it just depends on what kind of account you invest in. So we're going to take a look at this formula. And the formula is a little bit complex because it's all letters. There's no numbers in it. So the formula is right here, I equals PRT. Okay, so let's pull this apart and let's talk about the pieces of it. So the P, the principal, is your starting amount of money. You should be writing these notes in your toolkit. Okay. The I is what we're trying to get as our final result. So how much interest will you earn over that month or over that year? Okay. The next one we're going to take a look at is the rate, R. And your rate is your percentage. And when we put it in the formula, we are always going to use the decimal form, not the percent form. So you'll see what happens in a second when we do that. So, and the last thing is time, T. And T can be months, years. You always have to go back and see how it's being calculated in the problem. Okay, so let's take a look at the example here. It says, Teresa invested $1,425 in her savings account at her local bank. The bank pays simple interest rate of 3.5%. So I'm going to get a highlighter here and I'm going to start highlighting some important information. Okay, it pays simple interest of 3.5 annually. Annually means yearly. How much money will Teresa have in 4 years? So the other piece of information we need is the 1425. All right, so we're going to replace everything in this formula with what we know. The formula is I equals P R T. Our P is a starting amount of money. It's 1425. And if P, R, and T are all letters and they're all next to each other, there's an imaginary multiplication symbol between them. So the rate, R, is the percentage as a decimal. So this is where it gets tricky. So if we have 3.5%, you're probably like, well, it's already a decimal. It already has a decimal place in it. Yeah, but you have to remember that this is 3.5 out of 100. Okay, so we need to take 3.5 and divide it by 100. So when we do that, what happens is that decimal point moves 2 spots to the left. And what do I need to do? Add a 0 as a place value holder. So this is going to be 1,425 times 0.035. Okay. And let's go back to the problem. It says that she will have this in the account for 4 years. And they're calculating it annually. So years and annually, we're going to put the 4 into the formula. Okay. So I'm going to erase some of this so I have some working space. If you don't have a calculator, you are going to need one. Okay. So we are going to be doing straightforward multiplication. 1,425 times 0.035 times 4. And what that gives me is the interest equals $199.50. Remember that 0.5 means 50 cents when we're talking money. So in 4 years, if Teresa puts this money in a savings account, she will have an extra $199.50. So she's going to have the original amount, okay, plus the interest she earned in her account. So she'll have a total of what? $1,624.50. Okay, hopefully that's matches what we got from the toolkit entry. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is an IXL related to these, and we're going to look at IXL M12. I'm still in L, so we're going to go to M12, simple interest. We're going to do a couple together, okay? Mario has $100 in a savings account that earns 5% simple interest. Okay, so I'm going to turn the highlighter on here. $100 earns 5%. The interest is not compounded, which just means it's simple interest. How much interest will he earn in 1 year? Use the formula I equals PRT, where I is the interest earned, P is the principal, the starting amount, R is the interest rate expressed as a decimal, and T is in time, is in years. Okay, so that's important that we check that it's in years. So our principal, the P, is 100, okay, times 5% as a decimal is 0.05. Remember, that's 5 over 100 because percent is out of 100. And he's only saving this for 1 year, so we're going to be multiplying by 1. So 100 times 0.05 times 1 is $5. So in 1 year, he will have earned $5. So it says how much interest will he earn? He will earn $5. I think some of these get tricky and it asks you how much he'll earn, and sometimes it'll ask you how much he will have. So you have to read the question. Evan has $70 in a savings account that earns 10% interest per year. Interest is not compounded. How much will he have in 1 year? Okay, so 70 times, remember 10% over 100, so that's going to be 0.10 times 1 year. Okay, so 70 times 0.1 times 1 is $7. Now, this time it asks us how much he will have in 1 year. So he will have the 70 he started with plus the $7 he earned, which means he will have $77. Anna has $80 in her savings account. She earns 5% annually. It's not compounded. How much interest will she have in 1 year? How much interest? Okay, so not how much total, how much interest. So this is going to be $80, the starting amount, times her interest rate as a decimal, times the time. 80 times 0.05 times 1 is $4. So she will have earned $4. Maggie has $40 in her savings account, earns 10% annually. How much interest will she have in 2 years? So this changed it up. Our years is no longer 1. So she had $40 in her savings account. She earned 10%. So remember, that's 0.10. And our time this time is 2. So we're going to be multiplying this by 2. Okay? So 40 times 0.1 times 2 is $8. So she will have earned $8. And that's answering the question. It asks what she earned. If you think you're good to go at any time and you want to stop the video, you may. You may go start the IXL. I'm going to continue on. Kayla has $80 in her savings account, interest rate of 10%, and she's saving it for 2 years. And this is asking how much she will have in 2 years. So we're going to have to add at the end. So we have $80 times the 10% times the 2 years. That gives me $16. So she'll have $80 that she started with plus the $16 in interest she earned to give her $96. Okay, last one I'm going to do. Harold has $80,000 in his savings account. The interest rate is 13% per year. How much will he have in 3 years? So $80,000, the amount he started with. Notice the amounts are getting a little larger, which means the interest earned should be a little bit bigger. 13% as a decimal is 0.13, and for 3 years. Check my math. I got $31,200. When I multiplied that out, 80,000, I'm double checking, times 0.13 times 3 is 31,200. Now, it doesn't ask how much interest, because that would be the interest he earned. It asks how much he will have. So you need to add the 80,000 to that. So you have 111,200. This is where I leave you today. If you have any questions, you know you can always email me. I hope this helps, and good luck on the assignment.